Yeah, you know what it is. Everything we do it big. Yeah, screaming it's black, and we higher up. Yeah, it's like that. Every time you see me, you know I be rocking everything. Black and purple, black and purple, black and purple, black and purple. And you know how my whole stay get it in. Black and purple, black and purple, black and purple, black and purple. Black fitted, purple letters. You can try something else, but you know better. I've been labeled as a go-getter. Got my city on my back.
Matthew Fresquez Show. I am your host, Matthew Fresquez. I hope you're having a great day today. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your families. I hope you get to spend the weekend with family and friends. There's no better way to spend it, and I know that's what I'm going to be doing. On the show today, I know that I said I would have starting offensive lineman for Arizona State, Andrew Sampson. I am bumping that back to either Sunday or Monday. Arizona State has a big game coming up against UCLA, and I feel that the interview would be much better after that game. So with that said, make sure you get in your questions for Andrew Sampson. MatthewFresquezShow@gmail.com. I will read them on the air, and he will be answering them for you. On the show today, we'll be having an all-Colorado sports show. I got a message from Zach in Boulder, and he was asking about the Rockies' offseason moves, the head coaching job at CU. So I just figured that we'll focus on Colorado today. With that, the intro music and the ending music is also from a Colorado artist, Black Prez. Check his stuff out on www.blackprez303.com. Check out his Facebook page, and also go on iTunes and download his stuff. I've downloaded his stuff. Great music, great guy. Also check out his live shows. He has a bunch going on in Fort Collins and Denver, all around the area. So if you're in this area, make sure you check that out. Before we get started, I just want to make this clear that when I do this show, I am not a fan of teams. I'm not a fan of players. I am simply a sports fan. I try to be as fair and as balanced, impartial, and not biased as I possibly can be. I think I do a pretty good job at it, and I just wanted to make that clear that I'm not rooting for a team. I don't care who wins when I do this show. I simply am talking about what I see in my opinions from an impartial standpoint. First, congratulations to the Colorado Rapids, the 2010 MLS champions. They beat Dallas on Sunday 2-1 to bring home their first ever championship. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to Colorado. But now let's talk Colorado Rockies off-season baseball. The Rockies front office just continues to let them down year in and year out. This isn't proving any different this year. There's just a few moves that I look at, and I don't understand where they're going with this. The first move is letting go of catcher Miguel Olivo. He had an amazing year this year, 6 triples, which was third on the team. He can move, he can steal bases for you, 14 home runs, and he batted .269. And if you remember at the All-Star break, he was batting around .315, and how he didn't make the All-Star team, I don't really understand that. But Miguel Olivo is a pretty good offensive catcher, not to mention a very good defensive catcher. And by letting him go, is basically what you're saying is that Chris Iannetta is your guy offensively and defensively. Defensively, it's fine, but offensively, we've seen this happen before. They try to go to Chris Iannetta. It's not happening. It's not working. Why you would let go of a catcher like Miguel Olivo? I know he's getting up there in age and years catching, but he had a great year last year. So bring him back for a year or two, see what else he can do, because Chris Iannetta is not your guy. Another move that they made was they waived on Jeff Francis's option, and I can understand where they're coming from on this one. I wish that they would keep him around until the end of his contract. I feel like he's still working through some of his shoulder problems, and once he does, he'll be back to his 17-win season form. But it really just leaves another hole in their starting rotation. Jorge De La Rosa is now a free agent, so you have 2 spots you really need to fill. And I know they have some young guys, but I feel like if you want to make a run at the World Series, which this team is very capable of doing, then you can't go with 2-year guys, their second-year guys. Now, I do think they will sign Jorge De La Rosa, and I think Jorge wants to come back, so I think that deal will happen, but that still leaves one position open in your starting rotation. And Zach in Boulder actually wrote in asking about Minnesota Twins starting pitcher Carl Pavano, who I think would be a great fit here, but the Twins just offered him salary arbitration, which means that the Twins would receive 2 draft picks as compensation from whoever signs him. And I think with that price tag on him, I don't think the Rockies sign him. even without the salary arbitration, I still don't think the Rockies would go after him. They don't like spending money in the offseason. They like to work through their farm system, and this would be out of character for their front office, which also means that my thought for who they should get is also at the window. And I'm not saying that they would get him, but they really should go after Cliff Lee. I think it would show the club that they're trying to make this team a winner now, that they want to go to the World Series now, and that they're serious about it. And they would show the city of Denver, the state of Colorado, that they're willing to spend money to win games. Cliff Lee would be a great, great counterpart for Ubaldo Jimenez. I think obviously you'd go Cliff Lee number 1, Ubaldo 2, because I think Ubaldo will be back to his form. Kind of got away from it in the second half of the season, but I think that first half of the season, it was a ridiculous pace, but I think Ubaldo can keep pretty close to that this upcoming season. And so if you put him with Cliff Lee, not saying that he would even come, but you can imagine what kind of team this would be if they had 2 really good starting pitchers, arguably 2 aces, and then they have the kind of offense that usually hits the ball like they do. You know that there's a lot of moves that can be made out there, and this front office for the Rockies has to start doing it if they want to win, and if they want to show the team and the state that they're serious about winning. Because this is a World Series ready team if you add a few more parts. But now on to the Denver Broncos. Not much to talk about here except for that the season is pretty much over. You can kiss the playoff hopes goodbye. They have a couple remaining games. They have 6 remaining games, which usually I would say are all winnable. They have St. Louis at home. They go to Kansas City, at Arizona, at Oakland, and they have Houston and San Diego at home to finish out the season. But I'm picking maybe 2 wins if they're lucky. We'll see what kind of team starts showing up. But there's a couple things that are really bugging me about this year. And now Josh McDaniels, everybody down here in Colorado is on him. I understand why you're on him, but he's not a bad coach. The reason why they're failing is because he just needs to be the head coach. That he has other responsibilities that he's not good at. Make him the head coach. That's his job. Find somebody else to do drafts. Find somebody else to... He needs to be head coach, and that's it. And again, it goes all the way back to the draft for me. When you trade up to get Tim Tebow and you pass on Jimmy Clausen and Colt McCoy, or when you pass on Dez Bryant, it makes no sense, especially when you get rid of Brandon Marshall. You need a receiver like Dez Bryant, and I don't understand the draft picks at all. I don't understand that some of the trades that they make, you get rid of Peyton Hillis, and Peyton Hillis is having an amazing year. I know I've said this before on other shows, but it's the same thing, and this is why the Broncos aren't winning. And then there's the talk about Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow needs to be the starter. Tim Tebow needs to be the starter. All hail Tim Tebow. And you guys are crazy. Anybody who's saying that is absolutely crazy. Kyle Orton is top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. If you look at his stats, he's doing amazing. If he had any kind of offense around him, the Broncos would be a very good team. But when you look at the San Diego game and you look at how many passes Kyle Orton throws and should have been caught, it's ridiculous. Kyle Orton is a great quarterback, and you may say, well, he's great in the system, blah, blah, blah. That's great if he's great in the system because this is the system he's playing in. So you want to bring in Tim Tebow and take out a Pro Bowl quarterback. That's what he is this year. Kyle Orton is a Pro Bowl quarterback, and he's doing a great job. And honestly, he's the Broncos' best player this year. I'm trying to think of Brandon Lloyd's pretty damn good too, but I would have to say Kyle Orton is your player this year. I don't know why you'd want to take him out and put in Tim Tebow. And if you're Josh McDaniels, you don't do that because you still try to win some games so you can salvage your job for another year. Because if you put in Tim Tebow, you're looking at about 6 losses towards the end of the season here. All right, moving right along, we want to keep this going. We're going to talk Nuggets basketball now. Everybody here is wondering about Carmelo Anthony. At the beginning of the year, I was saying you don't trade him. And you don't trade him if you're looking at top 4 in the West. I still think it's a little early to be throwing away the season or anything like that, but you're looking at 4th place just in the Northwest Division. I mean, Western Conference, you're not even in the playoffs right now. At this point, if the season continues where it's at, then you trade Carmelo and you get as much as you can for him. But if you're top 4 in the Western Conference, why not ride it out, see what you can do? Who knows what will happen if you're top 4? Right now it's not looking that way. but it's a long season. I say hold on to Melo at least till halfway through the season and see where you're at, and then you judge from there. But if you're gonna let go of Melo, you need to make sure that you keep JR, because I think JR can score. JR is a player, so you can't get rid of these two guys at the same time. Moving right along to the only team in Colorado that probably has a chance to do anything this winter, the Colorado Avalanche. I know there's not a lot of hockey fans out there. I happen to love hockey. Playoff hockey to me is the most exciting playoffs that I can watch. Right now, the Colorado Avalanche are leading the Northwest Division. They're, I believe, 4th in the Western Conference. Listen, these guys are just building on what they did last year. It's a young team. Nobody expected them to do anything last year, and they're just building on it. And I really do think that the Avalanche have a good chance to go deep in the playoffs. I would just like to see some more fan support from this area, because this is a good team, and you're missing out. 25 points already. It's a good team, and if you're not watching on TV, if you're not seeing it in person, you're missing out. Catch the Avs, because they'll be around in the playoffs for sure. But now, switching gears back to football, talking CU football, head coaching job. There's a lot of names getting thrown out there. Let me just start off with this. John Gruden, Wade Phillips, not going to happen. Stop thinking about that. Dave Logan, terrible idea. You do not go from high school to a D1 college football team. I know Dave Logan does a good job at Mullen, and he's smart in football, but that's a huge jump, and that is a big change. Someone that Mike Leach has been thrown out there. I think that would be a very interesting offense to see brought to CU. I think it would work, especially in the Pac-10, but I don't think that's the way you go anyways. You need guys who know CU. You need guys who know what they're getting into and who believe in CU. And those three guys are Bill McCartney, Eric Bieniemy, and the interim head coach, Brian Cabral. Brian's been there for 21 seasons. Right now, he's looking like a pretty good coach. I mean, if you've seen the CU's last 2 games, they want to play for him, and he's a good guy, good smart coach. He might be your choice, but you really can't go wrong in any of the three. If you bring in Bill McCartney, though, you need to understand he's not coming in for 3 years to prep another guy, to groom another guy. If he comes in, he's going to be the coach for a while, and everybody else needs to realize that. He knows what he wants, and you got to bring him in and let him do his thing. Eric Bieniemy knows football, knows CU, can recruit the hell out of kids. I think any way you go here between those three, you can't lose. And I think if you go Bill McCartney or Eric Bieniemy, you're still going to get Brian as a coach. He's still going to be your inside linebacker coach. But right now, I do not have a choice out of those three. I just think that those are the three that you have to choose. It has to be one of those three. I think right now, if I had to make a list, it would go Brian Cabral, Eric Bieniemy, and then Bill McCartney. I feel like that's where we need to go. I realize that McCartney was our national championship coach, and we get back to the glory days. But I feel like we need to go in a little bit different direction, get a little younger. Bieniemy, Cabral, those would be my 2 choices, but you can't go wrong with Bill McCartney. But that's all I have for you guys today. I just want to say thank you very much for tuning into the show. This is the Matthew Fresquez Show. I am Matthew Fresquez. Follow me on Twitter at Matthew Fresquez. Make sure you check out my Facebook page, The Matthew Fresquez Show. Like it. Also, thank you very much to Black Prez for allowing me to use your music on here. Remember, check out www.blackprez303.com. Check out his Facebook, check out his shows, download his music on iTunes. Next episode, I will be having starting offensive lineman from Arizona State, Andrew Sampson, on the show. Make sure to get in your emails, MatthewFresquezShow@gmail.com. Thank you very much for listening. Have a great Thanksgiving weekend, and we'll see you next time.
Daily routine, everyday thing. My own for my city, similar to King James. Ain't never gon' change. Now I'm in a fast route. Yeah, I clocked in, but I ain't never clocked out. Knowing about the box now. They ain't the first that know. And y'all call me Black Prez like my first name gone. Recognize I got a gift like it's my birthday, bro. I'm so fly that my phone stay on airplane mode. life's good. I'm the opposite of pessimist, trying to get me on the track and knuckles finna schedule it. And I will go and murder beats for the heck of it. Every time I need a production, I make it definite. Wow.